It is race week. I am running the Copenhagen half on Sunday, and I know I've got to fill you in on what's going on because I hadn't mentioned this race at all before today. And the reason is, until last week, I really didn't know if I was going to do it. It will be my second time at Copenhagen half, and I know it seems like a bit of a repeat of last year because last year also I told you I was doing this race on race week, but it is actually a different scenario. Last year was a truly last minute thing because I only got my entry 9 days out from the race, and then I scrambled to get my flights and accommodation sorted on time. This year, different story. I got my entry on the day they opened registrations. I'm pretty sure it was at the end of last year, and unfortunately they sold out so fast that Ben didn't manage to get an entry, and he really wanted to do this race. So I said, don't worry, if you cannot find your own entry via the resale platform, I will transfer mine to you and this will be your race and I will spectate. So we knew that we were going to Copenhagen and we had planned the travel. We just didn't know if only Ben was racing or it was the both of us. And also I was wondering if I should do it, if it made sense in my Valencia block. But I had such a blast last year that of course it was very tempting to do it again. Now we only managed to find an entry for Ben via the resale platform last week. So it's only a few days ago that we decided, okay, we're both racing. Now, very much like last year, slotting this race in the schedule doesn't change the big plans. Valencia half is still the goal race. I'm just taking a little detour by Copenhagen and it falls exactly at the halfway point of the 12-week block for Valencia half. So I want to use this race on Sunday to check in on a few things. So first, I kind of want to see where I'm at with my half marathon fitness. I've not raced a half marathon since Berlin in April. So we're not doing a hardcore 10-day taper like we would do for a goal half marathon race. Trust me, the week before Valencia half, I will not be running 102 kilometers like I did last week. But this week is a down week and hopefully on Sunday I'll have somewhat fresh legs and it will be like a very hard long run workout where I'll be running as fast as my body lets me. Another reason is that, as I mentioned in my video review of the Puma Fast R3, I am considering them as my race shoes for Valencia half. I just don't really know if I can tolerate them for such a long distance because it is a particular shoe. I'd much rather find out whether or not I can race a half marathon in those shoes in Copenhagen than at my goal race in Valencia. Another reason is it's going to be fueling practice in proper half marathon race conditions because I take a lot of gels in training. Fueling at race pace, it's a different ball game and it's hard to replicate the duration of race intensity in training, if that makes sense. And of course, I absolutely loved it last year. Such a great course. The atmosphere was incredible. I have such great memories. I mean, why wouldn't I want to experience this again? And really, you don't know what the future holds. If you have the opportunity to do something, just go and do it. So I'm really excited, also a bit nervous and apprehensive because what if instead of being a confidence boost, it kind of has the opposite effect. Also, the one thing that I'm not really a fan of with the fact that I'll be racing is that I won't be able to track Ben. I won't be able to, check in on how he's doing. And I wish I could do both at the same time. This morning I am doing my little tune-up session before the race. Usually I do my race week session with my race shoes, but because the Puma don't really strike me as a very durable shoe, I really want to avoid using them in training. So I'm just going to go with my old on Cloud Eco 3s for today. So the session is very similar to what Ben usually gives me when I'm about to race a half marathon. It's pretty typical race week session. He just made it slightly longer today. I've got 2 by 5 minutes around tempo effort and then 4 by 2 minutes around 10k effort, but today is more about feel and not really about obsessing over paces. And then I've got 4 times 30 seconds little pickups. I'm going to do my session by the river because it's probably not worth going all the way to the circle track for this one. So that's rep 1 done. I must say, my legs are not feeling like funky fresh. Probably still carrying a bit of fatigue from the long run workout Sunday. And that is the race week session done. 2 by 5 minutes, 4 by 2 minutes, 4 by 30 seconds. I'm looking at my paces now. I'll put them on the screen for you. I mean, my pace was okay. It's just that I could tell my legs were not feeling super fresh. I do have a bit of time until Sunday for my legs to feel fresher. It is only Tuesday. But I think I need to prepare myself for the possibility that my half marathon PB streak could come to an end on Sunday. It is very likely. Since my very first half marathon race in November 2021, every time I have raced a half marathon, I managed to get a new PB. And last year at Copenhagen half, I snatched a PB by the skin of my teeth by only 2 seconds. It was not an A race, it was the same scenario as this year. I was training for Valencia half and Copenhagen was bang in the middle of my block. But yeah, still 2-second PB, kept the streak alive. This year, I mean, obviously, I'm going to try. A part of me is like, oh my gosh, what if it's the race where I fall completely flat on my face, where it doesn't go to plan at all? Because at some point it's going to happen. I am going to have a bad race at some point, and then what if it's Sunday? I don't know. Easy 40-minute run done this morning in the drizzle. This was actually my last run here in Shrewsbury for quite a while. We're going to be out and about this month. I'll put my race week training on the screen. Basically, after such a big week last week, this week we are really toning it down to give my legs a chance for Sunday. So basically easy run Monday, Tuesday, Friday, tomorrow is a rest day, yesterday was the little tune-up session, and then Saturday just a little shakeout and some strides. Only one gym session this week. I went Monday and then that was it for the rest of the week. Also, completely different topic, I want to give a shout out to Running the Red Line podcast. So Brett and Andy are 2 running YouTubers who you probably know about, and they are doing this weekly podcast called Running the Red Line. And back in October last year, I came on the podcast in one episode as a guest as I was about to race the Valencia half. And then yesterday, almost 1 year later, I thought that was funny, I got a parcel from Brett with some goodies and a thank you card. I thought that was really thoughtful, didn't expect anything in return for being a guest on the podcast and just talking about training for an hour. But one of the goodies was this mug, which is really, really cool. It is now my new tea mug. So thank you guys. It is 4:32 in the morning. We are about to head over to the airport. We need to set off in about 10 minutes. We have an early morning flight to Copenhagen today. So we are actually not in Shrewsbury. We spent the night in Wilmslow just to make it a little easier this morning and not have to wake up at like 3 in the morning or earlier. And yesterday, thankfully, I managed to book in a massage with my favorite therapist in the Manchester area. She came here yesterday afternoon. 90 minutes of getting rid of all the knots in my back, my quads, my calves. My legs were so sore. It was so needed. I was so grateful that she was able to slot me in at rather last minute. I know this video was not really eventful, but I wanted to bring you up to speed as to why I'm doing Copenhagen, what's going on, everything. But the next one should be much more interesting because that will be the Copenhagen race vlog. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!